music and just help us share, please. Thank you for sharing and welcome to Angelspeakers interpretada en español. If only I could talk today. I'm Terry Angel, and I'm here with my co-host, Lily Ortega, and we have a beautiful show scheduled for you today. So share with somebody, tell somebody to get in here so they can listen and enjoy what's going to happen. Before I bring Lily on, I just want to share that right now, the Peace on Earth tour, which I am on, is in California, right where Lily is. And I'm so excited because I may get to see her and meet her in person this month. We're working hard toward that goal. I've already done one land blessing in Solvang, Southern California. And next Sunday will be the next one in Palm Springs, California. So exciting. And I just love this journey. I love what the angels are doing and just ready for a blessing from every person that I meet and every place I go into. Today's show, Lily is going to introduce our guest that's with us, and I am so excited and so ready to learn and to experience what we're going to hear about today. So Lily, thank you, my darling co-host, for being here and for bringing on somebody wonderful for us to experience today.
Yes, Terry. Well, thank you for the... I'm hearing an echo. I will continue. Thank you for the introduction. And yes, well, I'm going to say in Spanish what you just said, Terry. Terry nos acaba de compartir que ella está en California, hizo ya una bendición de la tierra en Palm Springs, en Solvang, y el próximo domingo va a hacer una bendición de la tierra en Palm Springs. So va a ser, hoy es viernes, sábado, el domingo. El domingo va a ser una bendición de la tierra en Palm Springs. Y después va a venir al norte de California y espero poder ver a Terry para hacer una bendición de la tierra en esta área. All right, so now I am going to introduce our guest. Her name is Gina, and she is the director of Choice in Learning Montessori, which is a program, a Montessori program that works together with Choice in Aging, which is a Montessori program. So combine of both of these programs, this is called intergenerational program. I am going to say now this in Spanish. El día de hoy tenemos a Gina. Ella nos acompaña ella es la directora de Choice in Learning, que es un programa Montessori para niños. Y ella trabaja aunado a un programa que se llama Choice in Aging, y es un programa que es para adultos, para ancianos, y de esta manera es un programa intergeneracional donde los niños comparten tiempo con los adultos haciendo actividades. Algunas de estas actividades son actividades Montessori. Y Montessori es un programa, es una filosofía de educación. Welcome, Gina. Bienvenida, Gina.
Hi, Lily. Hi, Terry.
Hi.
So, I have a video that I would like to share. And I am thinking if I should share it before or after Gina speaks. What would you like, Gina? What would you prefer to do?
You know, it might be more meaningful if you show the video first, because then people have an idea of what it is intergenerational programming really is.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Let me share.
I guess it was about 2 years maybe that he was just not quite knowing what to do with himself, and the VA recommended that he be allowed to go to the daycare center, and Choice in Aging was what they recommended, and he began going there. At first he wasn't real happy about the bus because it was full of people he didn't know and so forth, but he really loved the bus coming, and he would wait eagerly for the bus. Is very much the artist, and he had taken all of the art classes that were offered at Kalamazoo College, and the professor suggested that he thought he would do well at Cranbrook. Then you had to spend 2 years at the Art Academy, and it was all studio based. And the professor would leave it to you to take care of yourself. And they would come around, they would be watching, but they would come around at the right time to give you a boost or to give you a critique or whatever. And it was just the greatest system for him to be able to develop as an artist. For him, it became the art center. And when he would go, he would get on the bus to go to the art center because that's what it meant to him to be there. But something was just very different about the quote unquote art center, because that was an activity that was his alone, that we weren't telling him he had to do or anything, or he had to go to bed now, or he couldn't do this or whatever and so forth. He was treated like a real important person. And he liked being an important person. So it came as a very, very big shock when he no longer could go to the art center. The bus didn't come, and it didn't take, because that was last spring when the pandemic shut it down. I think that was the beginning of the end for him, was to not be able to go to the art center, quote unquote art center. He would each day wondering when he was supposed to get ready. This wasn't the day, because it was 3 days a week that he went. But he wondered where the kids were the people, when was the bus coming? It was quite an angst for him. To be able to have the help, knowing that he's well cared for, because that's what's been important to me, that people who are kind and appreciate him anew, you know, and he can appreciate them. That was the training he had at Cranbrook. Was what do you have to give the world in the way of something unique, you know?
Okay, can you hear me? Yes. Yes, so this is I understand this. Well, maybe you can explain better, Gina, what this is about.
First, I have to say, I've seen that video a few times. And every time I see it, and every time I actually step foot into choice and aging, you know, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel really good about what we do. What we've done is we've taken two groups of people. We've taken our elderly participants at Choice and Aging. We've taken our little guys at Choice and Learning, and they're 3 to 5, the children that we take over. And we've tried to combine them in a situation where there's meaningful activity for the elder and for the young child. Whitney, as you heard, was an art professor. And there was a lot of art in the memory care unit. And it was actually our marketing gal who said to me, Whitney made those, we should do something. We should do an intergenerational activity. And we did. And what you saw was our biggest success. It's the mark by which we judge all other intergenerational interactions. So, Lily, did you want to translate yet?
Yes, thank you. Nos está diciendo Gina que este video captura lo que es el programa intergeneracional, que es un programa para ancianos y para niños donde se combinan y hacen actividades significativas para ambas generaciones. Y en este caso hablan de Whitney, que es un que es una persona que él era antes, en su profesión era un profesor de arte, y entonces fue cuando se les ocurrió combinar los dones que él tenía, que los empezara a poner en práctica y los combinara con los niños y trabajaran juntos. So, Gina, so Whitney, his profession was an art professor. And I would think that when he was at home, before going to choice in aging, he was, I don't know, I wonder if maybe he was not practicing so much art. I would think, but who knows? But what we do know is that now being in choice in aging, he's not only putting in practice his skills that, you know, that he had for life, and that should come easily depending where you are at in your life and your memory and all of that. Mm-hmm. But I can imagine that working with the children is giving him purpose, is giving him meaning to his life, because that's what he used to do. He used to teach others art. But at the same time, I know that the people, the elders or the adults who are in these facilities, they also, it's not just that the children are learning from the adults or the elders are also learning from the children. So it's a very, very beautiful interaction and how they trade their gifts with each other.
It is, you know, and that particular interaction you saw was in the memory care unit, where oftentimes dementia is viewed as a disease. And if you take Montessori and you put Montessori into practice with dementia patients, we look at it as a disability. And what do we do so that we can spark a memory? We can make a person feel important, like Whitney felt. We can give them a purpose and a reason for being, and we can bring joy to their day, you know. And so if you view something as a disability as opposed to a disease, not only do you get the children involved and they're learning that different isn't bad, it's just different, but you're giving the elder purpose and meaning in life, you know. And what's more beautiful than that for both age groups?
Yes. And something that comes to my mind, knowing what Montessori is, well, I know for children, and I'm sure it works the same with adults or elders, but for the children, it teaches them independence, and their self-esteem goes up, their self-worth, their potential expands because they see what they do every day, and they start building that self-esteem, thinking, I can do this, and I can do more, and I can, you know, they start constructing themselves, like building themselves and edifying. That's the word that Terry uses, edifying. Now with the in this case, these elders, do all of them have dementia in some level, or there are some elders that they don't have dementia?
No, Choice in Aging provides services at the Mount Diablo Center for 4 different groups of people. We have a Farsi program, a Russian program, an adult day health program, and then our memory care. So the children interact with a variety of different people, and we base our interactions on the particular group that we're going in to work with. Where we are most successful is in the memory care area. We have fun in all the age groups, but there's something special and unique about the memory care area of our interactions, because, you know, we're able to use, for example, our Montessori materials where the children think they're teaching the adults and the adults think they're teaching the children. So it's a two-way street and everybody is feeling good about themselves. And it's sparking a memory. For example, if you're sorting clothes, you know, sorting socks or whatever with a particular activity, the adult remembers doing that at some point in their life. And so they think they're teaching the child, and the child thinks they're teaching that adult how to sort, you know, something that they do every day in class, you know.
Yes.
And what's important about what we do, and, you know, and what Choice in Aging as a whole does, is we look at each individual and we treat them as individuals, and they're not just sitting in chairs, they're active and they're participating, and they're participating with, you know, other participants, they're participating with the caregivers who work on site, they're participating with the kids. The kids look forward to going over there. The elders look forward to the kids going over there. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Yes. Terry, is there anything that you would like to ask before I translate? No.
Sorry, I had myself muted.
Oh.
But yeah, so I see the benefit both ways of this, Gina. And it's just so exciting to know that this has developed into something that's so beneficial on both ends, to have those children really learn and to see how they can interact with an elderly person and the joy that has to bring to them. I mean, are you able to talk to the children on that level to where they understand the interactions?
You know, they view the people at Choice in Aging as their friends next door, and they like to go see their friends next door. And if they see me walk out of the building, you know, and they know that if I don't have a purse, I'm not going to lunch, I'm going next door, and they want to go with me. So I can walk into finance and have a child with me, or 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 with me. I can walk anywhere in the building and have children, and the children love being there. What we've also found about walking out of the door in Choice in Learning into Choice in Aging is it brings a certain calmness to the children. They know that their friends have disabilities. They know they can't, you know, run around the building. They know they have to lower their voices and be mindful of the people around them. So, you know, it's a fabulous thing. Before we were Choice in Learning, we were a different Montessori school, also a good Montessori school, just like Choice in Learning is, but it was different and we had no interaction with Choice in Aging. So we would see firefighters, paramedics go into Choice in Aging, and the kids would be looking at the fire trucks, or they would be looking at the firefighters. Now, when the children see an ambulance arrive at Choice in Aging, they think about their friends. They think that the last time they were in there, a certain friend was getting a leg massage from, you know, one of the caregivers, or one of the nurses was taking a blood pressure or something. So their focus has changed as to how they respond to their friends next door. Now they're truly friends to them. They're not just people who are going to daycare just like them. There's a different level of respect for them.
Yes, I love that they are learning mindfulness this way. I've been saying for years, if we could just teach our children more mindfulness, meditation, respect, that it's going to be a different world. And I see that it will be, especially where these children are involved. I want to thank you for doing that. I think that's amazing.
Thank you. We love what we do, you know, and for so many years, I was just a Montessori teacher. I was a director and a Montessori teacher. And, you know, now, thanks to our CEO who gave us this opportunity, I'm so much more. I'm a dementia Montessorian, you know, I have a different outlook on things. I see things differently. It's been a really wonderful experience for me, for the teachers that I work with. It's been pretty fabulous.
Yes, yes. I'm gonna translate some of the things that I recall. Gina nos está diciendo que en este programa los adultos, los ancianos, tienen mucho gozo, les da un propósito de vida a todas las actividades que hacen, no nada más porque hacen cosas por sí mismos independientemente, sino también le encuentran propósito a hacer esto con los niños. Y es un beneficio recíproco porque tanto los adultos, ancianos están recibiendo de los niños como los niños están recibiendo de los ancianos. Y dice que se sienten activos, que participan con otras personas que están en la misma locación, quienes los cuidan, también con los niños, con las personas que los visitan. Entonces están muy activos todo el tiempo. Y nos menciona Gina que tienen diferentes tipos de, digamos, how do you call that, Gina? I want to just say that in Spanish. You said you have 4 different...
We have 4 different programs.
So could you please repeat so I can translate that? Because I have not heard about those. It's new to me as well.
We have a Russian speaking program,
Okay.
a Farsi program,
Okay.
an adult day health program, and the memory care program.
Okay, now you said one, I remember the third one you mentioned, you said adult health program?
Adult day health, yes, it's an adult day health program.
So that's related to health, to health.
It is, it's, they go to the program, they're monitored by nurses, nutritionists, etc. And it's basically adult daycare, I guess you could call it, but there are professionals on the scene to help them out should they need them.
And then the Russian and Farsi program is for people who their native language is that? Or,
yes,
okay.
Yes, yeah.
So you have several people in the facility who speak Russian and who speak Farsi.
Yes, all the people who work with those groups, they speak those languages, yes.
Oh. It will be good to have somebody in Spanish. And then the memory care, so I have heard about memory care, but how do you describe the memory care program?
What do you mean? How do we describe it? It's our memory program.
Yeah, like what is a memory care? I hear the word memory care, so it's for
it's for people who are suffering from dementia, okay. Alzheimer's.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it is for, basically, Alzheimer's. Yes. and memory. That's what it's called, memory care. Okay. Nos dice Gina que tiene 4 programas distintos, uno en ruso, otro en farsi, otro para adultos y su salud, y el otro que se llama memory care, que es para pacientes que tienen demencia y que tienen Alzheimer's. Well, I have a question. I guess I'm getting questions here.
Okay.
With the dementia and Alzheimer's, like what I heard is that, they lose their memory gradually. But in the facilities where there is this like Montessori program, there are certain things put in place in some places that are, for example, the tag of the caregiver or the tag in the wall. I mean, I know there are certain things that they have to be adjusted, or they are a little bit different than in other facilities that have patients with Alzheimer's or dementia, because the purpose is for the elders to be able to isolate that and recognize it, and it works better with their brain. The colors, sometimes it's the colors that you have in the walls. But also, well, anyway, because then I am thinking about the activities, because I know, for example, also the activities that help them to regain their abilities is just, for example, pouring water from a jug to a glass. And then once they regain that ability, then they start serving to others. They can bring a tray and serve, offer water to others. It can be folding clothes. It can be, I don't know. I mean, there are so many activities that they can do, and it's just daily activities that if they are, many of them did when, before they lost their memory. So they are kind of regaining the memory of those things. So I guess my question here is that all these activities, all the things that the facility does in the physical appearance of the building, all these things that I mentioned, they help them somehow regain their memory, or how do you explain that?
Well, I think it's kind of what I was saying at the beginning. If you treat it as a disability versus a disease, then you look at the areas, for example, where they need more help. And so you cue them. So for example, if you want them to be able to get to the bathroom by themselves and you cue them that a bathroom door is yellow, then they know when they see a yellow door that it's a bathroom door. So that's the idea of, helping them to do things for themselves. There's that saying that if you take it away from me, then I've lost it forever. The Montessori saying is, help me to do it myself. So the more that you allow people to do for themselves, the more useful and vital they feel about themselves, the more important they feel about themselves. And really, isn't life all about feeling useful, about feeling loved, about feeling valued? And so you try to give that back to them in whatever way you can. And so, for example, when they're folding clothes with a young child, that's a memory they used to have. They remember folding clothes. Those are the kind of the memories that I think they lose first are the newer memories. But folding clothes, they've been doing forever. So it sparks something in them. And they go, oh yeah, I've done this. I know how to do it. Look, here's this young child. I'm going to teach this young child how to do it. And how wonderful is that? You're important, you're valuable, you're honored. This child is looking up to you. So I think that's what it does in a memory care unit, the purpose of Montessori in a memory care unit.
Yes. And I heard also that music is something that really helps. Either if they were musicians or exposed to music, it doesn't matter, I guess. Just music is something that can really help them recall even things in their childhood or a long time ago, correct?
Yeah, and what we find, because we do music, we have entertainers come in and provide music, and then we have our own in-house person who does music. So one of the things that we do is we taught one of the children the song Country Roads. And then we made sure that the entertainer sang that song. And the children were sitting in the middle of the floor and the participants were all sitting in chairs around them. And the next thing you knew, you had a room full of people, young and old, singing along. So yeah, music is universal. And anytime we tap into music, everyone participates.
All right, I'm going to translate in Spanish. Nos dice Gina que estamos comentando que el sistema Montessori tiene muchas actividades que le dan propósito a la persona o al adulto o al niño. Y en este caso, por ejemplo, doblar la ropa, vaciar agua de una jarra a un vaso. Por ejemplo, recuerdan o empiezan a ganar esa habilidad de servir agua de una jarra a un vaso, y luego ya que dominan esa habilidad, entonces pueden ofrecer agua a las demás personas que están ahí con ellos y les da propósito también. O por ejemplo, doblar ropa, ya que se lava la ropa, doblar la ropa, esa la pueden hacer ellos o la pueden hacer esa actividad también con los niños. Y hay muchas otras cosas que se hacen para ayudarles a los adultos o ancianos con su memoria. Por ejemplo, las paredes se pintan de cierto color, el gafete del trabajador está de cierto color, con ciertas letras, para ayudar al adulto o al anciano a reconocer ciertas cosas. Y algo que estaba diciendo Gina, que es un lenguaje universal, es la música, porque la música, independientemente si fueron músicos o no, les revive muchas cosas en su vida y todos bailan, todos se animan, se ponen a bailar con los niños o ellos solos. Entonces, estas son algunas de las cosas que hacen en el Montessori Intergenerational Program. Yeah, what else would you like to share, Gina? Because I mean, I have been asking questions for the things that come to my mind, but what would you like to share with us about the program?
Well, I think one of the most interesting things, and if you are familiar with Montessori, you know that the teacher is not out front and center in a Montessori classroom. We are observers in the environment. We allow the children to explore and learn on their own. Yes, what we put on the shelves is what guides them, and we know how to guide them, but we guide them in a way that they don't really know that we're doing it. And the same is true of our intergenerational program. When we go into an intergenerational situation, the staff at Choice and Aging stands back and the staff at Choice and Learning stands back. And we allow the interaction to reach its full potential organically between the elder and the young child. And you oftentimes see a change in the demeanor of someone as these children come parading through, and you see a change in the children when they, sit down and they're next to someone and, they're being mindful of that person and they're participating and working with them. But the staff, the system and the process is just working so well that we don't need to step in. We just watch, maybe if a ball falls on the floor, if we're doing like a parachute activity with balls, that are coming off the parachute, we'll throw the ball back on the parachute, but we're not interacting between the adult and the child. We're allowing all that to happen organically. And so everybody takes from it whatever their particular takeaway is. I can tell you, I was on the playground one day, it was late in the afternoon, and in a really manly voice, I heard, "Gina, look at me." And we have these big building blocks on the playground. And it was really late in the afternoon. I was tired. I was ready to go home. And I turned around and this child had built a walker out of building blocks and was demonstrating how he was walking across the playground with his walker. From there, every day for about 6 months, we had 5 or 6 walkers on the playground every day. Then they decided to start making wheelchairs. The only thing was their wheelchairs had no tires. So they would just sit in their wheelchairs. And so these kids are getting such a huge takeaway. These are not kids that go to the grocery store and see a cane or see a walker or see a wheelchair and point and stare and ask mommy or daddy what that is. They know what it is. They know it's something to help their friend next door. It's something they need to get them where they need to be. So the children are learning so much. It's just, you walk out of there and you feel good about, it doesn't matter what's happened that day, you feel good about yourself when you've participated in an intergenerational activity.
Yes, and something that that I can see very important, like you mentioned, like the teachers are guides, or in this case, the staff, staff that is teachers, or it could be the caregivers. They are, like you said, observers. So we try not to interfere, because sometimes when we think we're going to help, we are actually an obstacle in their growth. So it's very important to stay back and observe, and only if it's really necessary to interfere, which it could be for different reasons, but it's really probably just for an emergency. But just let them interact, because that's the way they are going to learn from each other. And we really help by not helping. So yeah, that sounds beautiful, like that it works the same way with elders than it works with children. And when you have them both together, although you have to be looking at safety always, you are always one of the essence of the Montessori philosophy is to let them do things on their own.
Exactly. And, if you think of the mission of choice in aging, and you think of the Montessori philosophy, and the mission is to treat people with dignity and respect. If you're a Montessori teacher, that's the mission of what you do, is to treat young children with dignity and respect. So when the philosophy matches between the two entities, it has to come out right. It just does. We've done all kinds of activities. We've had Easter egg hunts. We've done Halloween parades. We've had former teachers who are now part of Choice in Aging read stories to the children. We play bingo with the Farsi ladies. These children are learning another language, and sometimes they don't even need to know a language, because kindness is universal,
Mm-hmm. Yes. And something that you mentioned that I remember, yes, respect. I remember in Montessori that the children learn respect, not because I teach them to be respectful, but just how can I explain this? Like, just being if you will, like a role model, just like me being kind to the children. They observe that, and then they are respectful to me, and they are respectful to others. Now they see that we are careful with the materials that we use, that we are respectful to our environment, that we are respectful to our indoor environment and our outdoor environment, when we go to the garden, taking care of flowers. So when they observe all those things with their absorbent mind, then they do it. They just do what they see. And these are children. But now I haven't done this with the elders, but it's the same principle. I would think, it works the same way. Plus, yes.
It's the exact same thing. I think when you model appropriate behavior, and that's your biggest job as a Montessori teacher, is to model behavior, whether it's, again, like you said, how you treat the materials, how you treat each other, how you treat your teachers that are working with you in the classroom. It's all about modeling behavior. They don't let me teach too much anymore. They make me stay in my office a lot now, but every once in a while I get in a classroom and substitute. But when I did teach, my biggest thing that I taught was mindfulness. It was all about how you treated others, and you treated them the way you wanted to be treated. And that's what we do with the children, and that's what we do with the elderly next door. And the one thing I wish we could do, but not many of our elderlies are mobile enough, is I wish we could bring them into the Choice and Learning building every once in a while. We always go over there, but it would be really nice if they could come to us. And we got one group, I think one group of ladies came through one time, but we didn't get to do anything because our chairs are small, and so it's a little harder that way. But we do go over quite frequently. And, you know, sometimes we have things that just happen. There's a shared courtyard between our preschool room and the adult day health program. And so we can see into there what they're doing. And one day I was in my office and I could hear music and it was pretty loud. So I knew the teacher had the slider open to the courtyard. And when I walked over, there were a few children and they were just standing there looking at the courtyard and looking at what was happening next door. And I said, you guys want to go over? And the teacher kind of looked at me and I said, it's okay, I'll take them. So I took a few over and we just went in. They opened the door on the other side of the courtyard for us. They knew what we were there for. And we went and we watched music. We sat and listened to music, you know, and when they were ready to go back, I took them back to their classroom. So things just happen spur of the moment because of the proximity of the two buildings, which is kind of nice.
Yes. And you know, we know that children have that genuine, they are angels and they are genuinely kind. You know, that's their nature. Yeah. And we know as we grow, you know, things change depending on what we are exposed to. But when I think about children interacting with elders and all the things that you say they see, they are exposed to with the elders, I just feel that they are learning so much more and practicing, and they are exposed to a way to be more kind. Like they are already kind, but with these things, like interacting with the elders and with the experiences that they have every day or every time they visit them, they get to practice their kindness. And it's both ways. So of course, it's also the elders, but it just sounds really, really, really beautiful to be able for both of them to be in that space where nobody has to say, you know, you have to be kind. It just flows. Right?
Yeah, it does. And I think it's been a blessing for everyone. And sometimes I think the biggest blessing I received to be able to be part of this and to be part of the planning that goes into this, because, you know, there is a certain amount of planning. Once a month, we get together with both sides of the building, you know, and we talk about, well, this week we think we'll try this. Next week we'll do that. And then things come up also. And, you know, we just show up, you know, and we do our thing. And it's really nice. It's nice to have that opportunity to do it. It's nice to have a president and CEO who understood how important intergenerational activities were to both sides of the building, and to have her trust us enough to let us do it, you know, because she just turned it over to us and said, you know, do it. When we became part of Choice in Aging, she said to me, you know, there's one condition. And I said, what's that? And she said, we have to start like some intergenerational. And I said, what is that? I didn't know what it was. I had no clue. And she said, well, you know, you come over, maybe start by reading. And then I did a little research. And then she had me take the Dementia Montessori training. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, wow, Montessori's been doing this all this time. And we sat in this side of the building for 20 years and didn't know you could do this, you know? And so it's just been fabulous to be a part of this and to see the joy. I mean, you know, there's some of the participants in memory care who aren't doing much when we walk in, and you see one expression on their face when you walk in, then you see their expression when the children are there, then you see their expression as the activity's going on, and then you see their expression as you walk out, and you've turned someone who might not have necessarily been thinking or focusing on anything, who suddenly has sparked great joy because they've seen these little guys walk in the building and sit down and, you know, play Legos with them or sing with them or whatever it is that we're doing an activity with someone like Whitney. I mean, it's a pretty fabulous experience. And to say this is your job, this is what you do, is pretty wonderful.
Yes. Is there anything that you would like to comment or ask?
Yeah. Yes, I think this is so amazing. So Gina, is this like a prototype, or are there other schools and aging facilities that are doing the same thing? Maybe in, not exactly the same way, but going with this whole idea of integrating them?
In Pleasant Hill, which is where we're located, we are the first of our kind. We call ourselves the premier intergenerational preschool. So we're the first of our kind. There are in our area, there are other schools trying to do it. Some do it with church groups. It just depends. We just happen to be fortunate to be part of a facility that works with aging people. And so it's a natural fit for us to have an intergenerational program, Can I talk about our Aging in Place campus a little bit?
Please.
So the vision of our CEO and president was to have an Aging in Place campus with wraparound services. And we are working on attaining that goal. It would involve an independent living area building. It would involve choice and learning getting a much bigger space and a much bigger facility, and it would involve a bigger facility for choice and aging. And at some point it would have a medical clinic added to it. And there would be spaces, for example, where shared spaces, shared gardens, shared vegetable area, growing vegetables. And there's one place that I really particularly like, and it's the connection that they've made between where the choice and learning building will be. There is a garden that will connect us to memory care for choice and aging, so that we could share that space. And, we're working on it, we're getting there. And I just look forward to one day that particular campus being built. It's going to be pretty exciting to be part of. And it's my honor and pleasure to be able to do what I do with the people that I do it with.
Yes. Terry, I saw a comment here. Gary, I have to put my glasses on. Gary Friedrich, I don't know how to pronounce that, Friedrich. No, he's just saying many blessings for your commitment.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Yes, what else? Is there anything else, Terry, that you want to ask or say?
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to do a translation.
Oh, yes.
I know you're enjoying this just as much as I am.
Yeah, I get engaged in the conversation, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I get to translate. Gina nos está comentando que en el mes de, so the growing space is gonna start happening this year, but do you have a date for, like, I don't know, how long is that gonna take?
I heard very aggressive estimates that 2024.
Okay, all right.
But we don't know for sure at this point. Don't quote me.
Okay, Gina nos comenta que en Choice in Learning and Choice in Aging van a expandirse y van a construir otro espacio más grande, tanto para los niños como para los ancianos, y van a tener un jardín donde van a poder cultivar, van a poder cosechar y van a recoger los frutos que haya en el jardín. Y es un proyecto muy grande que van a empezar pronto y tal vez lo terminen, quién sabe, a lo mejor en el 2024. Yeah, that's going to be beautiful to start connecting with Mother Earth, you know, because I remember as a Montessori teacher that children love to be outdoors, and I'm sure elders too. Like they enjoy anything that you can do outdoors, and there are so many things that they can do and connect with Mother Earth, and to see, okay, I'm going to plant this seed, see how the seed grows, and then I'm going to collect the fruit or the vegetable. And then when you work with them we have this exercise that is to set up the table, right? Mm-hmm. And then everybody has a task, you know, somebody helps with the tablecloth, another one with the plate, another one. So they set up the whole table. It's like how do you say, like oh, I forgot the name, like a ritual. It's like a ritual. And they look forward to it. And then once the table is all set up, and you know, then you bring the food, and somebody serves, like carries the tray with the food, if possible, if there is a child that can do that. And so it's beautiful for them to be able to see where that started. It started with a seed that I planted on the dirt, in the ground. And this is how, and then they want to go see how far it has grown. Oh, and now, you know, it's just beautiful to have the garden, and for the elders too.
And everything that you just said that we do as Montessorians with the children, we can also do with the elders. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. So it's pretty awesome. Yes, you know, who would have thought that there would be this connection, except for Montessori? Who would have thought that there was this connection in the way that you educate young children and the way that you work through disabilities that some elders might have? Who would have thought Montessori was the answer to all of those questions? Mm-hmm. It's pretty awesome.
Yes, I thought the same way when I heard about the program with elders. I was thinking it makes sense why Montessori, that works for children, why it will work for elders. It totally makes sense. So I'm also glad to hear that there are so many programs now that are involving the elders in more purposeful activities, because there is so much that they can do, so much, instead of just sitting down and staring at, you know, at the walls or at each other. I mean, there are other things that they do, but these are more activities where they work with the motor skills, their fine, you know, their gross motor skills or their fine skills, and the brain, and coordination, movement. There are so many things involved that they, in language as well. So there are so many things integrated that they are able to use. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
I love this, and I love that you shared with us today. And it gives us hope. You know, when our children are being exposed to something like this, and then into nature, which is the grounding part of what they're getting. I just admire you, and thank you so much for sharing with us today. And Lily, thank you for introducing Gina to all of us.
No, I'm grateful that to be here with you both, and that I was able to found an intergenerational program that I could interview, because I looked, and then I thought, okay, I look a lot, and then I thought, well, I'm going to look somewhere that is in Northern California, and then I never thought I would find one, and here it is. So yes, it's beautiful, all the work that you are doing, and the project that you are planning to do of expansion, and that so many people are going to benefit with this expansion. So someday I will go visit.
Please do. Thank you both for letting me talk a little Montessori and a little intergenerational with you.
Gracias. Le decimos gracias a Gina por todo lo que están haciendo, por el proyecto de de expansión, donde van a poder beneficiar a tantos niños y a tantos adultos y ancianos. Y estábamos hablando de la conexión que van a tener con la Madre Tierra por medio del jardín que van a tener, donde van a poder plantar y recolectar frutas y vegetales. Entonces, le estamos diciendo que felicidades por todo el trabajo que hacen, por toda la labor que hacen. Yes, thank you.
Thank you to
All right.
everyone who tuned in. And Gina, did you have any last words that you wanted to share with anyone today in our audience?
If you have a need for our services, please reach out to Choice in Aging, and we can tell you more about our programs, about our Aging in Place campus, and of course, we have that lovely Montessori school. Thank you.
Yes, I will be posting into the comments for the Facebook page and the website for Choice in Learning and Choice in Aging. So anybody interested could reach out to both facilities.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you for all that you do and for keeping this show going, and finding beautiful people like Gina for us to really connect with and to understand more about life. And that's what it is. We're all, as Ram Dass says, we're all walking each other home. So however that support comes, whether it's a child, an elderly person, or one of your peers, just know that we're all doing the best we can right now. And we're all a work in progress. It's not about perfection, it's about progress and putting one foot in front of the other. So thank you. Thank you to both of you today for being here. Lily, anything else? Do we have a guest for next week?
We do have, I believe there is going to be two guests. They are in Mexico, and and it's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern time and 12 p.m. Pacific time. And I just want to also say thank you to Gary. He's saying thank you, angels. Thank you, Gary. He wrote a comment. Yeah, thank you for everybody who watched the program live and the ones who are watching the replay. If you have any questions about intergenerational program, please reach out to Choice in Learning or Choice in Aging or any other program that you see related to this. Is really beautiful, the work the intergenerational programs do for both generations. Gracias y nos vemos la próxima semana. Oh, namaste. Terry, namaste, y'all.
Have a beautiful rest of your day or night, wherever you may be. So much love to all of you. And Gina, I'm just so happy that I got to meet you today and sit and listen to all of this wonderful information. It gives me hope for our future. So thank you.
Thank you.
Lily, my love to you, my friend. I love you so much.
I love you too. I love you. And thank you, Gina, again, for being here and for sharing all what you share with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you then next week.
Same time. Bye, everybody.